Hi, everybody. So I'm not sure how many of these videos I've posted on YouTube, but I've been doing on my Facebook network videos of basically life through RNF. And there are so many parallels and life lessons that you learn by being an RNF consultant. Rodan Fields, by the way, when I refer to RNF is what I'm referring to. It is just amazing. And the personal growth that has come along with being a part of this company has just been remarkable and immeasurable. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a reading today from a book called The Rhythm of Life by Matthew Kelly. Living every day with passion and purpose that one of our leaders in the company, Candace Shackerbauer, is absolutely incredible and beautiful inside and out, gave out to our team members as part of just an incentive for really just applying ourselves. It's been incredible. So one of the chapters that's really come to life for me and for my team, especially over the past months, but really over the past few weeks, is how much of our power we give up to other people's judgments of us and our lives and the path we're supposed to be on in our journeys, and how much RNF has really helped me to bring to my conscious awareness the frequency of that and how much I've challenged those sorts of pressures to live my life and to honor myself and what I want to see come out of it. So I wanted to share this with you, and it's kind of long, so bear with me. One of the characteristics, this comes out of a chapter called Overwhelmed by Experts. And by experts, I'm not only talking subject matter experts and field experts in a particular area, but people who think they're experts on our lives, right? Family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues, bosses. So one of the characteristics of our age is an excess of experts. Everyone's an expert, it seems. Every day we are bombarded with opinions from these experts, and these opinions have a way of weaving their way into our lives and philosophies. Sorry, I want to skip some parts of it. We're allowing too many experts into our lives. They're batting us around like a ping pong ball, and in most cases, they don't seek to educate and liberate us. Rather, they want to make us dependent on them. In more and more areas of our lives, we know less and less and have become increasingly dependent on the experts. In an age where everyone's an expert, our base of knowledge is becoming narrower and narrower. So we can be experts in a field, but so is our base of common sense. As the number of experts in our lives increases, our ability to reason and make healthy decisions for ourselves seems to diminish. Don't surrender your life to the experts. They are never going to care as much about your life, your relationships, your children, your education, your money, and your life as you do. And they very rarely consider the whole picture, the many aspects of your life. Each of us must learn to make decisions consistent with the guiding principles that emerge from a clear and cohesive understanding of our essential purpose to become the best version of ourselves that we can be. When I was a child, I never wondered what was the right or wrong thing to do. I just knew. Something within me told me it seems that most people can relate to a similar experience at some point in their lives. As children, we know deep within ourselves how we should act in certain situations. We don't always act that way, but you know. The most common name that we give that gentle voice within us is conscience. There's a lot to be said for a clear conscience. The idea does not get much airtime these days, but there is a tremendous tranquility born from knowing that you are doing the right thing for the right reasons. As we grow older, we seem to lose this gift of knowing which is the better way to act. Somewhere along the way, most of us seem to be conditioned to distrust ourselves. We stop listening to the voice of conscience. We begin to seek out the opinions of the many older or other voices that distract us from the voice within. And as a result, one of the real dilemmas that people face every day is the inability to look at a given situation and simply decide for themselves which is the best way to act. When most people are faced with a financial decision, they consult a parent, a friend, a colleague, a book, a financial advisor, or a combination of these. Most people, when faced with a personal or moral decision, consult their spouse, their pastor, priest, minister, friends, or the scriptures. In all of these, however, there is no constant. Different opinions and different interpretations leave many people more bewildered than they were to begin with. But each of us, finally, after gathering as much information as is available or as much as we choose to accept, is forced to make a decision and to act, understanding that even to make no decision is to act. Between the gathering of information, the seeking of opinions, the actions of our lives, another process takes place: decision-making. Decision-making or decisions cannot be made in a vacuum. They are made in space and time. To make the effective decision, we must have some goal toward which we are moving, and if not, we find ourselves deciding because Uncle Frank said it was the right thing to do, or because Reverend George told me this was the best way. And in some cases, these advisors may very well be right, but in others, they may not be. And the point is, rather, that we should not make ourselves beholden to experts in our lives. We must seek to understand not only what is right, wrong, good, or best, but also why certain things are right or wrong. This does not mean either that we do not seek the input from advisors or experts. It does mean that we assess what they say against the backdrop of our essential purpose in the light of the goal we are moving toward. It is also critical that we understand the effects and consequences of our actions. These abilities are not easy to acquire. How is the ordinary person to know? Upon what criteria are we to base the decisions and actions of our lives? Before we make a decision, particularly a large one, or before we give advice to assist someone else in making a decision, it is wise for each of us to take time in the classroom of silence to listen to the gentle voice within. The classroom of silence. I want to reference people to the Rumi video. I did a video recently on a poem by Rumi that I love, and it's called The House Guest. And it talks about inviting all of your emotions, good, bad, the violent, the gentle, the sad. Invite them into your home as if they're guests in your home, and welcome them and ask them and tell them that you're there to listen to them. Ask them how they are, what they're there to share, and listen. Just as you would in a classroom. Even if those emotions come through and they violently sweep through your house, invite them in and treat them as your valued guests in your company. And that's what I think about when I think of this classroom of silence. It's so critical in life. Silence and solitude give a perspective to the situations of our lives that could not be gained by 1,000 hours of conversation or 1,000 pages of books. Yet this thoughtful reflection also cannot take place in a vacuum. It must take place in relation to the space and time of our everyday lives by considering the matter at hand in light of our everyday lives, in light of our hopes and dreams and with our essential purpose ever before us. If you do not know where you are going, you will never get there. Our ability to discern any question or opportunity in our lives depends primarily on our understanding of where we are and where we wish to go, and more important, our understanding of who we are and who we wish to become. Most people don't know what they want. Most people don't know who they are, and most people don't know who they are capable of becoming. And I have to tell you how much that rings true for me and so many of us in Rodan Fields. We dream differently now. None of the dreams I have today existed a year ago, and that's not because I didn't dream a year ago. It's just my dreams had a limit. There was so far I could go. Whereas now the sky's the limit. Now the world is my oyster. I can run this business anywhere in the world and enjoy the quality of life that I've always dreamt of and that I've worked so hard to have. I can still do everything that I love doing in my life now. I just have the ability to dream of it being done in a very different way. These are 3 very large statements. Are they true? You decide. In any depth beyond a little more money, a new car, and the vacation of a lifetime. Do you know a lot of people who really know what they want from life? Do you know a lot of people who know what they want for themselves? How many people do you know who are intimately aware of and in tune with their legitimate needs? And do you know many people who are connected to the deeper desires of their hearts? Would you say most people know what their genius is and are using it as a guiding principle in their lives? And finally, do you think many people have a clear vision of what the best version of themselves would look like? These are tremendous disabilities. When we don't know who we are, what we want, and what we're going, where we're going and why, we are very susceptible to becoming pawns in other people's schemes. Knowing who we are, our strengths, our weaknesses, our needs, our talents, our desires, and what we are here for, to become the best version of ourselves, is the knowledge that liberates us from the modern enslavement of a life of meaninglessness and gives our lives back to us once more. Millions of people have lost their lives and they don't even know it. That is unbelievable to me because it really does speak to, so many people think of loss of life as through death. But the truth is, if you're not living a life that brings you joy, if you're not living a life that gives you purpose, if you're not living a life that feels authentic to what you need and what you want, and you don't even know what that is, you've already lost. This book is just really incredible. And so, again, The Rhythm of Life by Matthew Kelly. If anyone's interested in understanding more about why so many of us in a skincare company focus on so much of the personal development and see it as such an incredible blessing. You don't have to be passionate about skincare. I am now, but I wasn't a year ago. You don't have to be passionate about the products. You don't have to be so knowledgeable day one of getting into this, but I guarantee you once you do, and you start seeing the results of these products on your skin, you start seeing what the products are doing for the people that you love and care about, the confidence it brings them in their daily lives to feel and look better in their own skin, the way that it affects how they interact with their world, and the dreams that consultants in this business start to have, you'll see it and you'll understand. And so I would love to be a part of that journey with you, and I would love feel honored if you would reach out to me and ask any questions you might have. No pressure at all. You know, we love educating and we love sharing. And so I challenge anyone watching this to please think within yourselves, am I living a life of purpose? Am I challenging myself? Is there something I'm not doing because of fear, because I'm letting fear hold me back? Am I living a life somebody else thinks I should be living because I'm afraid to live the life that I actually kind of want to live? I'm afraid of their judgments. I'm afraid of how they'll look at me. I'm afraid of what that will look like in my life. Reach out, because I get that and I understand that, and a lot of us do. And this has been the best decision I've ever made in my life. Well, I loved my board certification and I love my degree in psychology. Don't get me wrong. That was the best decision of my life. This is the best decision of my later in life decisions, if that makes any sense. You know, I feel like very few people are lucky enough to find passion for a career, and I have been lucky enough to find passion for two. And I am privileged to be able to do both of those at this time of my life. But I'm also privileged to be able to dream even bigger. So anyway, I hope to hear from someone. If you're just interested in the products and you'd like to get a testimony started, I would absolutely love to hear from you. I'm sorry this video is a little grainy. I'm limited in terms of what I am able to do at home, and I'm not very tech savvy, but I'll try to do better. But if you're interested in the business, I would really love to talk to you. I'm constantly looking to build my business with motivated, smart, savvy, people with charisma and positivity and drive who really want to put in the time and discipline it takes. This is not an easy business, but it's a simple business, and kind of speaks for itself. The products speak for themselves, and the business really does speak for itself. So anyhow, everybody have a wonderful weekend, and don't hesitate to reach out if I can answer any questions. Bye.